Jedi Apprentice, Book 4, The Mark of the Crown. So, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi land on the planet Gala, or Gala, and the dying queen who has a son named Beju, who is barely older than Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, and this is when Obi-Wan was only 13, who is in line to inherit the throne of his planet. Now, he is upset that his mother wants to transfer the government of the planet from a monarchy upon either her death or an election actually peacefully occurring before then. Guess how likely that is. And there are three possible candidates for the leadership of what is intended to be a democracy from then on, one of them being Prince Beju himself. Now, Prince Beju had, in the previous book, been working with the corrupt leaders of Findar to create false shortages of food and supplies on that world. Baftu and Terra got, along with their horrific mind-wiping anyone who is so much as labeled or suspected to be a threat, a population too hungry and too tired to revolt. And Beju got the backing of powerful allies to support him. Yeah, this corruption and cruelty goes on in real-world politics all the time, and does not end when a country, or planet for that matter, switches forms of government. It merely has to take a little bit of time reorganizing itself, and then the cycle continues yet again. Beju is only 16, but he's already taken part in the destruction of a planet, or the enslavement of a planet's population, however you want to put it. Not that different, however you put it. That's why the Queen wants him to not win the election. Well, actually, she probably doesn't. I don't know if she knows about that or not, but I mean, she says her husband, the late king, was a good man. Power corrupted him, and she doesn't want to watch that happen to her son, but he's probably already corrupted beyond redemption. Now there is, as the Queen says, a wild card. The king on his deathbed revealed to the Queen that in his youth he had secretly married one of the hill people on Gala, and people who live outside the kingdom and don't recognize its authority, and the hill woman had his daughter named Elan, who should be the rightful blood heir, because that alone always means they are the best choice to lead, whether the monarchy is kept or not, and she wants to do right by her. Elan isn't even her daughter. It's weird. This book presents the situation in a way that makes Queen Veda appear compassionate, but is she really? As a young teen, I thought so when I first bought this book. But now, looking back, and knowing politics, no matter what the political system to be the corruption and ignorance orgy that it really is, okay, that is a really disturbing mental image. You know who actually put it best? And I cannot believe I am saying this, but Inspector Clouseau in the 2006 The Pink Panther movie, he says, politics, where greed wears the mask of morality, but it is only ever a mask. No wonder the world or galaxy keeps falling into ruin. We might as well just call the golden butterflies and let Beatrice slay us all. At least then the suffering would come to an end. So, oh boy, where to begin? First of all, why would an outlander with no knowledge of or recognition of Galatian civilization? It's interesting. They don't call residents or inhabitants or anything to do with it. They don't call it Galan, they call it Galatian. That's kind of, or Galatian, I don't know, that is interesting. That's weird. So why would this... The weird thing, the title of this book, The Mark of the Crown, has to deal with a very vague mark that I guess is supposed to appear in this weird way when the oldest of the previous ruler's heirs, I don't know. The story also serves as another suggestion that people living outside one society, one culture, are exactly the same as the people who live in a culture that those of another have never, at least in their lifetimes, been part of. Because this book never suggests that Elon has ever come into contact with the Galan or Galatian kingdom as it is. The hill people are off to the side. Now, the Galatian royal palace is decorated in azurite. Now, where have we seen azurite before in this series? So this is where the fruits of the labor of all those miners on Bandomir go. Not towards their future, but towards funding or attempting to buy allies for world leaders, for other world leaders and politicians. And what a surprise! Obi-Wan Kenobi does discover a connection with Off-World Corporation. Well, if you put pieces together like this, even fictional stories do surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly after all, mirror real life, mostly because sentient nature really doesn't change. Even as cultures, technologies, civilizations rise and fall. This is why it takes millennia rather than decades to learn anything. I won't spoil any more of the book for you, but I will leave you with the links to 2 videos about real issues, real events going on in the real world right now that I am going to assign you to watch. Knowledge has been hidden. Politics is a horrific game. When I first read this book, I did think the Queen was trying to do the right thing, and I think as far as she knows she is, which actually raises questions of how Beiju was raised. Maybe it's not entirely his fault he's as corrupt as he is. We don't really get much history other than, he went and married a hill person when he was supposed to be of the king and queen. We don't know what they were like as parents, as rulers. The queen says the king was a good man. Well, much like real life, this is just so messed up.